All right, hi everybody. I'm Race Owen, and I'm here with my good friend Michael Wisnieux, and we're going to chit-chat about a couple of things. We've known each other for a very long time. Michael, I have known you since, gosh, 2002, 2003 maybe, something like that. We bonded over computer technology, and many years have passed and lots of water under the bridge, and we've had some fun ever since. You at the time were specializing in photography and video and filmmaking and so forth, and I think over the years you've honed your skills into something that's really pretty impressive, and you now have a studio downtown, right?
Yes. Downtown at 7th and Spring, approximately. That's 7th and Spring right there in the historic core on Gallery Row, very specifically.
And what did you open the studio, what was its main purpose?
To encompass all the things that I do. So I've been an actor and filmmaker, as well as a photographer, designer, and a bit of a music producer. And musicians have always been my favorite subjects since high school. So here's a space where they can perform, and I can record them, videotape them. And so it's a multifunction space. It's an art gallery, as you see some of my photographic art up here.
Yeah, I can see that.
So we can do it all.
You created the studio for a lot of different reasons. What has your interest right now?
I call it Omnimedia. I thought that recording studios, audio recording studios, should be making beautiful visuals of their performers as well. First, I wanted to make it look great and feel great.
The photos that we see on the wall behind you, the artwork on the wall, those are your photographs, correct?
Yes.
They're a little far away, just, it's webcams and that kind of stuff, so we can't see a lot of detail, but of course on your website and your Facebook page, there's plenty of detail to see, right?
Yep. These in particular are of this space when it was in demolition stage, the end of 2012 and beginning of 2013.
Let me ask you this question. It's maybe a little easier. Do you have a particular source of inspiration for the photographs that you take? Not particularly one subject matter, but the type of, is it light, is it spirit, is it something specific that kind of guides your principle of photography?
I never know till it strikes. I love people. I've always been a portrait photographer, and I love music, and I feel that people are music. We are waveforms. And so those vibrations are us, are through us, are everything that we see from sound to light. It's all waveform. So I'm admiring the divine energy, if you will, of everything I see. So inspiration will strike based on my perception, the energy of that which I'm perceiving. Can be a beautiful woman that I put into a beautiful or a derelict architectural space. I like juxtapositions. I like having a little depth of meaning behind the surface appeal.
When you're finding a composition, where you're finding a frame, what are the tools that you use to capture that moment? Do you have anything that's your guiding principle in the technology?
Well, at this point, it's so intuitive that when people kept telling me that I should really teach, it feels like, what? I'm not doing anything. This comes naturally to me. That's not really true. I studied quite diligently photography starting when I was 14 and started shooting professionally very quickly when I was 14. I think the way that all started was my dad pointing cameras and microphones at me when I started performing when I was 5. But as I studied light and composition, I read everything in magazines and books and took it all in. So now I'm bringing that back up and sharing the timeless principles that govern the way your eye and mind combination works and where you're going to focus your attention and how to balance all that so that your subject is flattered optimally.
We talked a little bit earlier off camera that you're going to be starting a master class in actually teaching your principles, your guiding principles of the WIZNU method of photography.
Yes.
And I understand that that's supposed to be starting at the end of the month or the early part of next month?
Yes, the end of this month.
And what is that going to be all about, the master class? Can you give us a few more details? If I wanted to take the class, what would I be learning?
3 main principles. So composition, lighting, and working with models. It's the stuff that, again, I learned and now do intuitively. So I will guide each student in a very personal way, because I'm not seeking to impose my way of doing things. First, I learn what's inherently natural to the student, the learner, and then lead them in a direction of improvement that is appropriate for their style. So I'm bringing out their personality and their heart into their work, which is how it becomes, how any creative journey becomes what we would call art, is if it's personal, individual, expressive, emotive, if it's creating an emotional response.
I'm sure it's very organic, the process of capturing anything that is artistic, whether it's an acting performance or a musical performance, or especially with a photography, because you have milliseconds to capture that moment. You may not see it at the time, but you saw it, a fraction of a moment afterward, a second or two afterward in your consciousness. And it's I'm sure it's training people to learn how to capture those moments in the moment. That's such a unique and maybe sometimes difficult process. Have you found that?
Well, it's like any skill. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice,
sure.
practice. And so by repetition, it becomes ingrained in your body mind. And so you practice until you don't have to think about it anymore. You learn the techniques in a logical sense, and then they gradually just become part of you.
So if students want to, is it the right way to say students, or is it that they're teaching you as much as you're teaching them? How are you, what's your perspective on that?
That's funny. I have to go into a tangent. My grammar school science teacher, I think this was 4th or 6th grade, there was a parent-teacher conference, and Mr. Kissel said to my mother, "I love coming to school every day because every day I learn something new from Michael." That still chokes me up. It was very, very sweet. I was so interested in science and reading so many books from when I was 4 years old, and sitting at the base of the bed with the new book of knowledge encyclopedia, that I guess I was bringing things back to the teachers. I learned something great right here. We had Kinder Walk. It was the second Kinder Walk. And I have a video on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/WIZNU, my studio name Wisnieux. So the Kinder Walk video has this one very young boy, and they were all 5 or 6 years old. And he was looking up at me and he said, "Why are there artists?" I had to come up with an answer. And so he taught me something that I hadn't really been thinking about. Why exactly do we do art? Why does art exist? And one boy asked me, "Why did you decide to become an artist?" Which I think the right answer is because you can't do anything else. Because you have to,
Right, sure.
Why are you an actor? It's not a very sensible
it's part of
choice.
it's part
so
of
risky.
You want to express yourself, and that's the way you choose to do it.
Right. Well, it's not even, in my case, it's not because I want to, and I actually find that the pat answer of I have to express myself kind of self-indulgent and ego-driven. Who cares what I think? Who cares what my expression is? Am I making the world a better place? Am I doing something that inspires people? If I'm able to help someone see themselves as creatively powerful, as having a gift and entertaining people with their music or their painting or their photography or their acting or whatever, then I'm helping them to feel good about themselves because they're doing something that helps other people. If I'm not serving humanity in general, then I don't think I'm contributing well to the planet I'm on. But,
and so then photography becomes your outlet?
My tendency is I want to create a timeless photograph like a Yousuf Karsh, a great portrait photographer who would create the iconic image for instance, in this case, Winston Churchill, that the world remembers who that person was because he captured their personality so effectively.
Sure.
That it's just timeless. People have said that my image of Janet Jackson may be the best picture ever taken of her, and initially I was very resistant to that idea, and I said, no, look at this album, look at that, and I went, actually, no, that's not that flattering a photograph. Oh my gosh, what if you're right? What if I, took this iconic image that is the best picture taken of this great person who was so inspiring to me and to so many people.
So not everybody knows who you are. I mean, I know it's hard to understand, but it's true. So if people want to see more of your work, where do they find you?
WIZNU.com or WISNIEUX.com. We'll get to my studio.
Perfect.
Or my personal photography. Yep. And on YouTube and Facebook, and they're all over the place.
You're going to be starting your masterclass into this month, and people can sign up through your website, or do they need to go to a special link or special location? What's the best way for them to do that?
Eventbrite, awesome system, WISNIEUX.eventbrite.com. And also on my photography website, WISNIEUX.com/masterclass.
Michael, it's been a pleasure to talk with you about your inspiration and what's coming up for you. All right, my friend, I'm going to sign off. We'll just end it up here, and I will catch you on the flip side.
Thanks, buddy. See you soon.
You're very welcome. Go forth and prosper, my friend.
You too. Cheers.
Right. Bye-bye.